I have everybody's attention now.
You know, Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So the central, to vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China, and Taiwan trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms at each country, and their leaders are expected to follow.
So in this week, we are going to talk about Biden's town hall meeting that took place a couple of days ago. And the one talking point that most people are discussing is the clip that I just played you, the fact that Biden could not denounce a genocide that's happened right now in China. Everyone pretty much knows about it. Everyone pretty much knows about it. But yet, he's like, well, you know, that's a cultural norm, I guess. And absolutely despicable, if you ask me, the fact that he couldn't even stand up to it. And the media, no surprise, done nothing. They did absolutely nothing. They didn't ask the hard questions. They kept on giving him the softball questions. They don't even investigate properly anymore. Now, journalism in 2021 is so bad that I'm making these videos just to debunk them time and time again. I'm making these videos to expose them, how easy it is to expose these journalists these days. Now, there's a few of them that I love. But most of them, they're just not doing their jobs right. And I'm sick and tired that people out there, these journalists and the media are just trying to brainwash the ordinary people out there time and time again, and I think it's time for it to stop.
Look, I'm still stunned, and let's forget that it's Joe Biden for a second. You could put those words in anyone's mouth, it would be disgusting. It would be disgraceful what he said last night about the cultural norms of genocide. It's
also a lie. The cultural norms of the Chinese. So it's also a lie.
Well, it's offensive on right. multiple fronts. Right. It implicates ordinary Chinese people in the genocide of millions that is taking place.
Exactly.
And it also gives succor and cover to a regime that, and by the way, you don't have to believe the people that come onto war and pandemic. You don't have to believe the people that sit in these chairs, Joe Biden. Go and look at the statements of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Fund, where they say there is a reasonable basis to believe the government of China is committing crimes against humanity. Look at all of the interparliamentary, all the cross-party, everything. This is not something you can deny.
And obviously people are calling out on Biden on this, as they should. You've got someone here that says, people voted for this man, never forget. Another comment that says, how did this guy honestly win? And you've got another comment underneath that says, he just literally excused ethnic cleansing live on TV and did so without blinking an eye. Good job, America. You elected a guy literally back in genocide. He's in China's pocket. It's blatant and he doesn't care. I wasn't much of a Trump fan, but this is on a whole other level. You've got another comment that says, how can someone like this be in government for 40 plus years? And then another comment underneath that says, he's literally just said that genocide is okay, and they said Trump was dangerous. And you have a comment here by Ian Miles that says, with Biden in charge, China has already won. And if you rewatch that clip of Biden about what he said about the Uyghurs, the Muslim Uyghurs in China, you can definitely tell that is definitely the case. So how did the media react to this? This is Caitlin Collins, who is the CNN's chief White House correspondent. This is what she said about Biden comment about the Muslim Uyghurs in China. Regarding his conversation with Chinese President, Biden says the US must speak up for human rights. The idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong and what he's doing with the Uyghurs, later adds there will be repercussions, and he knows that. However, we have got Scott Adams, who's going to debunk that by saying this. Scott Adams says CNN is trying to make Biden look coherent by combining his sentence fragments in different combinations until something looks right. It's heroic. This is how bad the media has become in 2021, that they will do anything to defend Biden, and no matter how bad and how awful it sounds, they'll just keep making excuses for this guy. It's absolutely disgusting. You've got Jack Posobiec saying that Joe Biden spreads direct CCP talking points when asked about the genocide of Uyghurs, and Scott Adams responds to that by saying, now that we know China owns Biden for certain and this video removes all doubt, we should discuss removing him from power with the 25th Amendment, and I agree 100% for sure. You have Steve Guest saying Joe Biden on China's human rights violations and genocide against the Uyghurs. Culturally, there are different norms. Shameful. And Jack Posobiec responds to that by saying, Anderson Cooper asks a simple question about the Uyghurs. Biden responds by defending the CCP. Draw your own conclusions.
The other portion is a lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular store.
I mean, is that not racist? I mean, imagine if Trump said anything like that. Imagine it. Every newspaper headline, every CNN, MS-13, DNC, Washington Post, Huffington Post, XYZ, liberal, random post would say, Trump is a racist. He says that black folks and Hispanics can't use the internet. They're too dumb. They're too slow. All this, that, and the third. But when Joe Biden says it, oh, it's fine. There's no big deal. You know, people are trying to defend him, talking about, oh, he was talking about rural access to broadband. No, he wasn't. Okay. First of all, he said rural, but he also said inner city, and he also said black and Hispanic. And the issue in the rural areas that really exists is the access to high speed internet, not the ability to understand how to use the internet. Okay. It's like having a bad car and saying, oh, they can't drive because they got a bad car. That's not how that works at all. So shout out to Joe Biden for being a racist, as usual, which is of no surprise to any of us.
You have Melissa saying Biden just said black people are too dumb to know how to use the internet. Everything is opposite with the left. The real racist, Biden, is portrayed as not racist, while the most pro-black President Trump was portrayed as racist. It's inversion of reality. And you've got Dan, who says everything is inverted. Racism is non-racism. Violent protests are peaceful. Protection by poisons, leading by hiding. Lying is truth. Truth is lying. Male is female. Greed is good. Protecting yourselves is aggression. Asking questions is propaganda. And cheating is winning. And that is the way I see the world is heading there right now, even more than ever before. You have Dave Rubin here saying, putting aside excusing genocide, the man's brain is a scrambled egg. The scandal has always been den on scandal, and when it finally breaks, watch them turn on each other in record time. And the next tweet, you have Kayleigh McEnany saying, signing off with a final notable quote from Joe Biden during his town hall this evening. Everyone knows I love kids better than people. Yeah, that is a direct quote from Joe Biden. So I absolutely have no idea what he's talking about there. And you have this person saying here, wow, I can't believe this is our president. Are they going to allow him to keep speaking in public for 4 years if this gets worse? Unfortunately, yes. Next segment is this week's Cutting Edge Reporting, where I bring you the best cutting edge reporting that I can find in the world today, in the Western world. And this week's Cutting Edge Reporting belongs to CNN. And their article says, President Biden has expressed a preference for a fire built in the Oval Office fireplace and sometimes adds a log himself to keep it going. Unlike his recent predecessors, he's more of an early to bed type. Here's how Biden is settling into his new job. And Kyle says here, this article perfectly highlights the state of the media. It's so bad you have to laugh. Do you want to know how the media has been rating Biden's first month of being a president? Well, Politico here is saying the Biden presidency starts today, and the date, as you can see, is the 15th of February 2021. And Jack Posobiec says here, Biden's first month was so bad they are trying to give him a do-over. That's how bad he is in his first month of a president. This is our second month into it, so we'll see how bad this gets in the near future. This video's pipe bomb segment belongs to none other than Steve Bannon, and this segment is going to be talking about the link between the Biden administration and the CCP. Take away, Steve Bannon.
We know the Biden campaign is watching. There's a lot more to come. And just remember, every time something comes out and you lie about it or you hide behind the Russia coverage, additional information is going to come out and prove you're liars. So for Tony Blinken and all you guys seeing your careers go up in ashes, just remember, there's evidence, emails, text messages, a lot more to come, and not just from the hard drive. There's stuff coming out all over, affidavits, other things from other news organizations. You're going to be buried in an avalanche of evidence of your corruption and how you've sold out America. You sold out America to the equivalent of the Nazi Party in the 1930s. That's what the Chinese Communist Party is. This is not about China. It's not about the Chinese people. The Chinese people are totally innocent here. Most decent, hardworking people on earth. It is their liberation that's the defining aspect of the first half of the 21st century. And you have been complicit in their slavery. You have stolen their money to make yourselves wealthier. Joe Biden and his family and Blinken and Sullivan and you guys are caught up in it too, okay? You have stolen the money from the hardest working people on earth that are enslaved by this totalitarian dictatorship that breaks the underground house Christians, breaks the underground Catholic Church, suppresses the Tibetan Buddhists, puts concentration camps with the Muslim Uyghurs. You have taken blood money, to go out and you, Hunter Biden, to do your drugs and all your depravity. Well, it's all going to come out in living color, okay? All going to come out in living color. That money, sir, was stolen from the Chinese people in slave labor. Remember that, stolen from them.